On June 11th, we're going to have an inspirational, motivational, high vibe full moon in fiery Sagittarius. What is remarkable about this full moon is that all of the planets, the personal planets and the outer planets, they are all talking to at least one other planet, which means that all signs are going to feel the energy of this full moon. This further validates what I shared in my June 2025 astrology video, which is that June is a powerful, pivotal month, a game changer for many of us. And I think a lot of us are going to feel this Sag full moon as a turning point. So in part one of this video, I'm excited to share with you who will most feel the energies of this full moon. What are those planetary conversations going on, and how can we finesse them with the most ease and grace? Because some of them are difficult, but I'm going to offer you tips for how to work with the energies. So be sure and watch part one. And in part two, I'm going to be doing readings for all 12 signs based on your rising sign and pulling an oracle card for each of the signs as well. Now remember that this full moon could be activating more than just your rising sign. So if you'd like to know how this lunation, as well as any other transits that are going on in the sky right now, how they're affecting you personally, I can illuminate all of this for you in an astrology consultation. So I'm super excited to dive into this very uplifting Sagittarius full moon. But before I do, I want to say hello and welcome if you are brand new to the channel. I'm so glad that you found us. It's my intention that we continue to create a like-minded community. If you're highly sensitive, if you're empathic, on a spiritual journey, many of you on an ascension journey, you are in the right place. Be sure and tap the subscribe button, tap the notification bell as well, so you'll get a reminder when I upload my next video. And a big hug of gratitude to all of you who've been supporting the channel, who have subscribed. Thank you so much for your support. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Betsy. I am a psychic astrologer as well as an intuitive life coach. I do astrology consultations. I'll say more about my consultations and my coaching at the end of the video. And I have a free gift for you that I'm excited to share also at the end. I also write weekly inspirational astrology updates that you can receive when you go to my website. Sign up for free, and you'll get my free instant download gift at the same time. Now, we tend to feel full moons more emotionally and in our relationships. Why is this? Because during a full moon, the sun and the moon are opposite each other on the zodiac wheel. And so you can think of a full moon as you and the other. In this case, we have the sun in communicative Gemini, very social. Gemini is the archetype of the twins and the lovers, but also the magician. And we say the magician because in Gemini energy, we have one foot in this material world and one foot in the ethereal world. The Gemini energy helps us to alchemize dark into light. Gemini also rules siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors. So those relationships could be highlighted for you, or just anything going on in your local environment. Now, across from the sun in Gemini is the moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the fire that is burning inside every single one of our souls that wants to expand and grow, the spiritual quest, the desire for freedom, adventure, new horizons, new scenery. It rules long distance travel. But even if you don't like to travel, it's the desire to ascend, to grow into the next greatest version of who you came here to be. And notice that the word sage is within the word Sagittarius. So this is our wisdom, our philosophies, sometimes a religion. But in Sagittarius energy, we are called to go beyond our current limits, to share our enthusiasm for whatever is lighting us up, and to seek answers for the questions that are currently burning in our hearts, or for the issues that are bringing challenges to our lives right now. All full moons tend to bring some sort of culmination. Something comes to a head. It's an ending. It's something coming into fruition. It's a manifestation. It can be, according to our human selves, very, very positive, or it can feel negative and difficult. But as we say, all endings bring a new beginning. A door closed is an invitation to open a new door. Now, there are two things I want to share with you about the timeline for this full moon. First of all, it is a mini culmination of the Gemini new moon that we had on May 26th. And I know it's sometimes hard to go back and think about what was going on, what intentions did I see, but that new moon was an invitation to shift our perceptions, to begin to tell a new story about our lives, to see things from a higher perspective. Especially if you've been telling yourself in response to a dream or a goal or something you're working on. If you've been telling yourself, I'm too old, I don't know if I can succeed at this, this is too hard, it's too late, all the stories that we tell ourselves, right? That new moon wanted us to shift that narrative to believing in ourselves, believing that we can do it, that we can succeed. I am capable. I can co-create a new reality. I am supported by the universe. I do believe that I can have a miracle. This full moon is also a full circle culmination of the new moon in Sagittarius that happened December 1st of 2024. So you can also look back to 6 months ago and ask yourself, what was going on for me then? Since that Sag new moon 6 months ago, have you reframed a past failure, for example? Have you let go of your past? Have you seen yourself through new eyes? What I love about Sagittarius energy is it wants to have fun. It wants to lighten things up. It wants to take us into a higher, more uplifted consciousness, to zoom out and see the bigger picture of life, of our own situations, of our so-called problems, so that we can free our minds. Because this axis of this full moon, the Gemini sun and the Sag moon, this is the axis of learning and growth. This is the axis of our mindset, our thinking, and where we can find inner freedom. Hence the term that we often associate with Sag energy, which is dream big, go higher, shoot for the moon, and the worst that can happen is you land among the stars. Not only is Sagittarius fire energy, it's also mutable energy. What does this mean? Mutable energy helps us to move through the change of seasons. It asks us to be open and flexible and flow with the winds of change, because we all know right now we are in a time of huge change. 5 outer planets changing signs. One was Pluto. It already changed signs last year. We just had Saturn join Neptune in Aries. This is a big deal, especially in this month of June. Why? Because this Saturn and Neptune conjunction in the fire sign of Aries, it is being activated this month multiple times by Jupiter entering Cancer, by the Sun entering Cancer, Mercury entering Cancer. And all of these planets are going to square Saturn and Neptune. Squares are uncomfortable. Squares ask us to move out of our comfort zone. Squares move us into action. And this is absolutely an invitation to uplift our faith, to lean more into the divine, to ask for help, but not just ask for help, not just lean on the optimism and the hope that Sagittarius energy brings, and that's wonderful. But there's a difference between hoping for something, even believing in something, and knowing something. And I believe this full moon wants us to shift into a knowing of faith, a knowing that you have the support, a knowing that everything is going to be all right, regardless of the change, the uncertainty, the anxiety that this can bring. To know in every cell of your body that you will get there. This full moon is inviting us into a spiritual quest. What happens during a spiritual quest? We don't know where it's leading. We let the journey be our destination rather than staying attached to an outcome, right? And that is so much easier said than done. That is really hard for our human selves to do. But this full moon is saying, be willing to take a risk without knowing how it's going to turn out. The other thing about Jupiter and Mercury, both Jupiter and Mercury squaring the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, and I'm calling it a conjunction. It's not exact, but they are very close together. The exact conjunction will be in February of 2026. But this square that's happening with both Jupiter and Mercury in Cancer to these two planets could feel like a lot of pressure. We may just want to let loose during this full moon. That's Sagittarius energy. Just forget about this for a while. Have a party, dance it out, release it. There is going to be a strong need to release emotionally, or to take some time off, even if it's just one day, even if it's just a few hours, to see things from a higher perspective, to enjoy yourself, to take really good care of that sweet child within, to nourish and mother yourself even. A healthy letting loose will be really good. And I think some of you may just feel like, F it, like I just can't. Not to say that this is going to be a really difficult full moon, but many people are feeling the pressure of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, and Jupiter will very possibly amplify that. Now, who will most feel this full moon in Sag? It is happening at 20 degrees of Sagittarius. Notice that 20 is the number 2, which is connected to partnerships, balance, harmony, cooperative, working together, collaborations, amplified by the 0. Those of you who have planets or points between 16 and 24 degrees of Sagittarius or the other mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, or Pisces, you will feel this full moon most intensely. But as I said in the opening, we're all going to feel this full moon energy. Why? Because of the aspects I'm about to tell you about. Not only are the mutable signs going to feel this full moon, but the cardinal sign energies are very active during this full moon, as are the fixed energies. So now another remarkable thing about this full moon is that its ruler is Jupiter. When we look at a full moon, we always look at what is the planetary ruler. Jupiter is ruling the full moon, and just 2 days before this full moon, Jupiter will leave the sign of Gemini and it will enter its exalted sign of Cancer. Exalted meaning that Jupiter loves to be here, it's in its full power, it's that much more likely to bring us the blessings, the good fortune, the raised consciousness that Jupiter can bring. But not only this, Jupiter in Cancer is ruled by the moon. The Sagittarius full moon, Sagittarius, is ruled by Jupiter. So the moon in Sag and Jupiter in Cancer are creating a harmonious energy flow. We call this mutual reception. Not only this, Jupiter is conjunct Mercury in Cancer. Mercury is the ruler of the sun in Gemini, very active during this full moon. Jupiter expands. Mercury is our thoughts. So whatever we are thinking about, how we're thinking, are we thinking empowering thoughts? Do we have a new story about what's possible for ourselves? Are we open to miracles? Jupiter and Mercury together will expand this. And so what I'm really feeling strongly here is lean into your faith. Lean into your faith that the universe has your back. Not only has your back, but is boosting you, is lifting you, is moving you, even if it's doing so in a way that your human mind doesn't understand. That phrase, the universe has a plan, my soul is guiding me, very apropos for this full moon. Now, I do want to note that Sagittarius energy, which is that fiery, let's go, let's move, let's have an adventure, let's take a risk. This is very different from the Cancer energy. So you may really feel these differing motivations where one part of you just wants to be cozy and be with loved ones and eat comfort food, and the other part of you wants to go where you haven't gone before. Watching an inspirational movie with people that you love may be one way to elevate your mind, but meet that desire for coziness that Cancer energy tends to give us. Now, the full moon itself is making 3 aspects to other planetary energies or points. And the first one feels quite magical to me. Why do I say this? Because the sun and the moon are making a square to both the north and the south nodes of destiny and fate. The north node is in Pisces, the south node is in Virgo. And because the sun and moon are opposite each other and the north and south nodes are opposite each other and they're all talking to each other, it creates what we call a mutable grand cross, a very spiritual aspect that could signify a karmic or destined meeting, event, situation, relationship, choice. When the nodes are involved, these are often moments that we look back on later and we say, that was when that happened. That was a turning point moment. These are things that can become important points in our life's timeline. Something can come to a head. We can get a light bulb moment. There can be tremendous clarity, or we can meet someone or meet up with someone that changes the course of our life. I also love that the moon is going to trine Mars in Leo. Mars in Leo, another fire sign. Mars in Leo is our leadership energy. It's the strength card. It's the little kid in us, inner child delight. And the moon is also making a trine to Chiron in Aries. the planet that represents our desire to heal a core wound, where our greatest wound, as we heal it, becomes our greatest strength. And we can then help others heal. The moon, Mars, and Chiron are making a grand fire trine. A grand trine in fire is very uplifting, and this energy can help us to burn away past pain. It could be quite transformational. Fire always wants to move us forward. Now, there are a couple of more potentially challenging planetary conversations happening during the full moon. They're not actually aspecting the full moon, but they're happening at the same time. And so we want to be aware of them and know how we can work with them, which I'm going to share. The first one is Mars in Leo is approaching a square to Uranus in Taurus. The square will be exact on the 15th, so we will be approaching it, but often that approach is when we feel the energy most intensely. And the lower octave of Mars squaring Uranus is a sudden moment that is very stressful. It's unexpected. It can be a shock. It's always a wake-up call of some sort. This happened to me recently when I was driving to my daughter's house one morning, and I'm just driving straight ahead, and another person to my left at the same time runs a red light and goes right in front of me. And of course, those moments are so scary. Fortunately, I was able to swerve to the right and avoid hitting her. But I don't even think she knew what had happened. I don't even think she was aware that she ran a red light. And meanwhile, I'm like, the energy's so intense. I'm like breathing and crying. I had to release it. It was scary. So I'm telling you this because during a Mars-Uranus square, we want to be extra careful. We want to be really mindful if we are operating a car or power tools or even cooking. Electrical stuff can happen, power can go out, things can break. But remember, the highest octave of Uranus energy is to course correct us if we need a course correction and to break us free of stagnation. Break down, break through, break free. So I always like to remember that a Uranus transit is always intended to free and liberate us. Now, the other tense aspect that's happening within the fixed signs is Venus in Taurus, and Venus in Taurus is quite lovely, really helps us to enjoy the sensual pleasures of life. Venus in Taurus, though, is making a square to Pluto in Aquarius, and we know that Pluto's a heavy hitter. We know that Pluto wants us to detoxify anything unhealthy in our lives. A Venus squaring Pluto, that is a call to protect your boundaries. It can be a power struggle. It could very well, especially with the Mars square Uranus transit as well, bring financial market volatility. But big picture, we have come a long way in our soul growth. We know now what we're not willing to settle for anymore. We know what is an absolute no or an absolute yes. And this transit may very well bring up that knowing so that it almost feels like a test. Or you could get a new revelation. I mean, Pluto is retrograde, so often it's not something new, but it's the universe saying, what would be the most self-respecting action to take here? Are you being honored? How can you honor yourself? And this aspect, too, is going to be ameliorated, softened, I believe, by the fact that Venus in Taurus is receiving a lot of support from Jupiter and Mercury now in Cancer. Venus will sextile Jupiter and Mercury. That's a beautiful aspect. That's the resources, the time, the energy, whatever we need being supplied. But we have to take some sort of action. We have to see where there is a need and we have to make the call or ask the question, get the support to receive that opportunity, that tangible blessing. Now, last but not least, many of you know that the galactic center is in the sign of Sagittarius, and it is a spiritual gateway. We could call it a vortex of energy. It has the power to raise our consciousness. It has the power to awaken us, to take us to that next level of ascension, to deepen our divine connection. And the moon will make a conjunction to the galactic center during this full moon. So this is tremendous support for opening up to the truth of who we really are, to our soul's direction, to our heart's deepest longing, and to feel that empowerment, that inner yes, to take that risk that Sagittarius energy wants us to take, to move into new territory, knowing that we are fully supported by our guides, our higher self, and the unconditional love of the divine. Okay, my friend, let us do the 12 sign readings now. Listen to your rising sign. This is the area of your life corresponding to the area of your natal chart where this full moon in Sag is happening. But you also want to listen to your sun and your moon signs because these will bring further themes and intuitive messages that may be very accurate for you as well. Okay, so we're going to start with Sagittarius because Sagittarius, this is your full moon. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius, beautiful Sag. I hope you really celebrate this full moon and celebrate you. We only get a full moon in our own sign once a year, and this full moon is happening in your first house of your first house of, as we say, identity. What is the identity? It is the way you describe yourself, the I am this, I am that, the titles, the roles that you play. It's also your status. So like your relationship status or anything that you do that you take responsibility for, the things that you're committed to, your appearance, your vitality. And sometimes when we have a full moon in our first house, it relates to our physical body. Why? Because the moon is very much connected to the body. But not only this, a full moon in the first house can make aspects to anything in any area of your chart. And because it's on an angle of your chart, the ascendant, it can also affect your descendant, your partnerships, your IC in the fourth house, which is home and family, your MC in the 10th house, midheaven, which is your career or how you spend your time, your life purpose expressed, retirement. So you can see why a full moon in the first house is such a big deal and why it can affect any area of your life. Now, Sag, because this is a full circle moment, you may have an ending of a relationship. Not everyone will by any means, but you may notice that this full moon really plays out in a significant partnership, whether it's professional or romantic or just a best friendship. Not to underplay best friendships. They are very, very important. Something could come to culmination having to do with your health. You could feel like anything you've been dealing with that's been difficult is now closing out. You've come a long way. You've healed something. And if not that, you will likely get new information that comes to you during this full moon that allows you to move forward. You may change a role. You may change a role in your work life. You may change a role in your volunteer work if you do volunteer work. You may just decide, this is working for me, I'm going to keep this. This isn't working for me, I'm wrapping this up. Or you just really notice that something is closing out. This is a full moon to raise your vibration. This is a full moon to go on a spiritual quest if that's what you want, to ask the divine for the messages that you need or the answers that you need to move forward. For all the reasons I talked about in part 1 of this video, and Sag, I really want to encourage you to watch that if you haven't already, because I share why I believe this is a consciousness raising, uplifting full moon, but also it has some challenging aspects, which I give you tips for in part 1 on how to work through. And I believe this will be revelatory. I do believe that a lot of us will get some sort of epiphany. The universe really wants to push us forward now, and I don't mean push in a hard way. It wants to get us going out of that. I'm getting an image as I say this of a car stuck in a tire stuck in a rut and just like spinning its wheels and just like the universe coming along going, we are pushing you out of this rut. It's time to get going here. That is what this June, the month of June is all about, and I share that I talk about why and all the different transits happening in June in my June astrology video, which is linked in the description box below. So Sag, let us now pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. And I'm choosing these specific cards because these are about the ascension journey. Okay, Sag, your card is relationship harmony. Archangel Raguel, we angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved now. Well, I am not surprised that you're getting this card when you have the full moon in your first house of you, but then the sun in Gemini, which is opposing this moon, is in your seventh house of relationships and partnerships. The seventh house is where we have a desire to have mutual reciprocity. We have their back, they have our back. And even if it's just, like I said, it's not, we often think of the seventh house as a marriage partner, a significant other, the person that we want to spend the most time with. But it's more than that. It's anybody that has, and this is why I sometimes say it's adult children as well, because like my kids are in their 30s now. So often when there are things coming up in my seventh house, it has to do with my kids because I spend a lot of time with them. So you get the idea, Sag. But what a beautiful card. This rainbow light over Archangel Raguel. So much light, carrying the torch. Carry the torch of love, beautiful Sag, the spirit of pure love that you are, and all will be well. Relationship harmony is expanding in your life. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, you are going to experience the Sag full moon in your second house. Your second house of earned income. This is the house of material security, possessions. It is also self-love, self-esteem, aligning your life with your values, and just feeling like all of your needs are met. All of your physical material needs on this earthly plane are met. So a full moon in the second house can bring something to head in any way that you earn money. I know that we don't all earn money from jobs. Some of us earn money from investments. Some of us earn money from, what we would call a side gig. Some of you have your own business, but this is specifically money that you bring in. It's also known as the house of self-reliance. So a full moon here, Scorpio, in Sagittarius, that wants to raise our consciousness, that wants to lift us up out of anything in our lives right now that feels challenging or difficult. And as I speak about in part 1 of this video, go back and watch that if you haven't already. There are 2 planetary conversations going on during this full moon in the fixed signs, and the fixed sign energies, of course, affects you, Scorpio, because you are a fixed sign. But I do believe that both of those transits, which I speak about again in part 1, so I won't go over them again, but I do believe that they are saying it's time to break out of stagnancy. It's time to break free. It's time to break through anything that is holding you back. So Scorpio, so in that way, it's really very positive. But yeah, it can be uncomfortable when it's happening, no question. Okay, Scorpio, let's see what the cards have to say for you. Scorpio, your card is victory. Yes. I love it. Archangel Sandalphon, your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. I mentioned the word faith numerous times in part 1 of this video. I do believe that this full moon wants to uplift our faith, but not just uplift it. It wants us to go to the next level of faith. It wants us to sense, feel, embody the faith that we are meant to have. And we can do this in a lot of different ways. My mind always goes there. What's a practical tool? Because I'm a coach. That's part of what I do. But what I'm thinking right now, what I like to do for myself, and what I've led clients through as well, is just going into that place of downloading unconditional love from the divine, allowing your soul, or the divine, your spirit guides, whoever you work with in the other realm, to infuse you with this knowing, infuse you with the truth of your faith. And sometimes that means also releasing a belief, like identifying, right? Identifying what is the belief that's holding me back from knowing fully 100% that everything's going to be great, that I will be successful, all of that. What's in the way? Sometimes it's identifying that as well. But this card is affirming your victory, beautiful Scorpio. So if you want to claim, and I love all the purple, I love the colors of this card, but so much purple, the crown chakra. If you want to claim your victory, and the blue of the throat chakra too, and we do have Jupiter and Mercury making a conjunction, Mercury ruling our thoughts and our mindset. Mercury making a conjunction to Jupiter, meaning that our knowing, our mindset is very, very important all the time, but especially during this full moon. If you want to claim your victory, Scorpio, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Libra. Hello, beautiful Libra. Beautiful Libra. You are going to have this Sag full moon, which makes a sextile to your energy, which is very beautiful. Fire to your air. Sextiles bring opportunities. They bring solutions. They help us find workarounds. They help us to gather the resources we need to take an action to be successful. You are going to have this full moon in your third house. Now, the third house is a lot of things. I call it, to sum it up, the house of moving and shaking. What does this mean? It's the house of our everyday errands, our local networking, our coffee dates and meetup groups, and conversations that we have on the fly with neighbors, with a checkout person at the grocery store, things like that, that end up often those conversations. And Libra, you know this because you're an air sign. Often those conversations, they put a bounce in your step. They open you up to a possibility you haven't thought about before. Maybe you even overhear someone else having a conversation, and that, a light bulb goes off for you. So that may very well be a part of this full moon for you. Often third house full moons are very busy. We're doing a lot of different things. We're having a lot of different conversations, emails, back and forth, and so forth. But also specifically because it's a culmination or a manifestation or an ending, you may notice this come up in terms of writing a book, writing a blog, putting a message out into the universe, and whatever way you do that. It can be through a video like I'm doing right now, a lot of different ways. Also, this full moon highlights relationships with aunts, uncles, cousins. I think I mentioned neighbors, also siblings. Siblings is a big theme during a full moon where the sun is in Gemini, which rules siblings. Taking a short trip would be really lovely during this full moon. Also, it is connected to our devices and our vehicles. So what do you want to experience during this full moon? What are you releasing? What are you bringing in? These are the questions, beautiful Libra. But know that this full moon wants to, at the very least, open you up to a new mindset that is full of faith, and that is, the word destiny is coming to me. And we do have, during this full moon, a cardinal grand cross that I speak about in part 1 of this video that is tied to destiny. So you could have a destined meeting. I would say yes to any invitation that intrigues you, or I would make an invitation to another person that intrigues you. This could be related to long distance travel because the sun is in the 9th house right now during this moon. And the moon, of course, is in the 3rd house, but it's opening you up. This moon wants to open you up to thinking differently, to seeing your life from a higher perspective, to opening up to anything that will bring you more freedom, more independence, more adventure. Beautiful Libra. Let me pull a card for you now. Libra, your card is Clear Your Space. Archangel Jophiel. Get rid of clutter. Clear the energy around you. Use feng shui. Check it out. This card tells me there is a heart healing for some of you with the green. Spending more time out in nature. Clear your space can be any space. It can be mental space. That's the 3rd house where the moon is happening for you. It can be emotional space. It can, of course, be your physical space. Often starting with the physical is easier. I like to just break it down to one thing, like I'm going to clear the sock drawer. I'm going to get rid of utensils from my, whatever drawer you put or canister that you put spoons and different things in that you cook with, like clearing stuff from there. Like start really simply because it is contagious. We clear one thing and then we're like, that felt good. I'm going to clear another thing. Clear the clutter from your computer. It could be that as well. Computers fall in the 3rd house. So whatever it is for you, beautiful Libra, it's going to open up new space for something new and beautiful to come into your life. If you want to claim that's something new and beautiful coming into your life or anything else, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Virgo. Hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo. You are going to experience this full moon in Sag in your fourth house. You are one of the ones that's going to feel this full moon most intensely if you have planets or points around that 20-degree point that I mentioned in part one of this video. You're one of the ones most affected because you are immutable. And I say that in jest. I'm immutable too, Virgo. You're not the only one. My sun is in Gemini, so I'm also immutable. What are the mutables good at? I know I'm teasing a little bit here, but what are we good at? We're good at bending when we need to bend, being flexible, making compromises, all of those lovely things. But when you have a full moon in your fourth house of home, family, and childhood conditioning, inner child healing, sometimes that moon is saying an ancestral healing as well. Sometimes that moon is saying, have you been too flexible? Have you bent too much? Have you bent over backwards? Have you twisted yourself into a pretzel to please others? That kind of thing. You are getting a square. I bring this up because you're getting a square from the Sag energy to your energy. And that means that there's some tension or pressure there often that we need to move through. And so we take action. That's the beauty of squares. They get us into action because humans don't like discomfort, right? So during this full moon, you may notice a change or want to have a change in your home or family. You could buy a house, you could move, you could sell a home, you could have a change in your family. Someone could move in or someone could move out. You could do some work on healing your inner child. Go into a meditation. I have several meditations on my YouTube channel, plus one you can download from my website for free when you sign up to get my free updates. In any of those meditations, you could go in and go see your inner child, go talk to him or her, let them know how much you love them and you will never ever leave them, and tell them the things that they've never ever heard before when you were growing up. You're getting a lot of beautiful energy, Virgo, from the Cancer energy. It's so cool for you that Jupiter is moving into Cancer. The sun will move into Cancer later this month, and Mercury will be in Cancer. Both Jupiter and Mercury are in Cancer during this full moon, and they make lovely, harmonious energy to your energy. So even though you're getting a square from the full moon itself, Jupiter and Mercury are sextiling your energy. That's ease and flow. So Virgo, do you feel a sense of belonging? Do you feel that you have your roots set down in the place that you want to be? Do you feel safe and secure in your home, in your inner home, with family? Of course, many of us have made shifts. Not all, but some of us have made shifts with family members. Some of us, we have our chosen family, right? We have our soul family. So all of that can fit in here, but often this fourth house is connected because it's ruled by the moon. It's the Cancer house. It's connected to the mother line, and that could come up during this full moon, especially because we have that mutual reception that I talk about in part one of this video between Jupiter and the Sag moon. So Virgo, let us see this would be a great time to do any sort of reflection on your mother line and ask the divine to help you to do some healing there as well, or work with a coach like myself to do that. Okay, Virgo, let me pull a card for you now. Virgo, your card is compassion. Archangel Zadkiel, soften your heart with respect to the situation. All of the people involved, including yourself, and all the people involved, including yourself. So what a beautiful card, Virgo. The light is shining through. You are being held by the angels. The divine really wants to help you to open up your heart, to soften, to see everything through the eyes of compassion. Easier said than done, I know at times. But when you do so, do you see all the red here? This is the root chakra, and the root chakra is the fourth house where you're having this full moon. When you do open up and give that compassion to others, but also to yourself, often we need, what's most needed is compassion for ourselves. for any past circumstances, situations, times that we wish we hadn't said this or that or done this or that. Giving yourself this compassion, I feel, is really going to make you feel more rooted. It's amazing to me, because most of us weren't taught this. It is amazing to me how that inner rootedness, everything happens from the inside out, right? How when we do take a step for our own inner healing, how that reverberates out, and the things that bring us external security can then show up. Beautiful Virgo. If you want to claim your big-hearted compassion or anything else you want to share, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Leo. Hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, you're going to experience this full moon in Sagittarius in your 5th house, your 5th house of children, true love and romance, and also your creative projects. So this is your free, unbridled expression, Leo. This is, whenever I think of your energy, I think of, and I know I've said this before if you've watched my videos, but I think of this, look, Ma, no hands, look, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. It reminds me of learning to ride a bike when I was a little girl. It reminds me of jumping off the diving board a zillion times until I felt like I got it right. And the whole time going, Mom, did you see that? Did you see that? That's Leo energy. In Leo energy, your energy, we want to have those feelings of, I did it, I mastered it, I accomplished it. We want to have those feelings. Now, of course, there are many faces of Leo energy, right? There is the proud lion or lioness sitting on the top of the mountain, being the leader, being in charge, other people coming to you, other people asking you for advice, guidance, and all of that. There are lots of different ways the energy can play out. But in the 5th house, a full moon in the 5th house, which trines you, by the way, trines your energy. It's the wind at your back. It's the ease and flow. It's your motor powered up and whisking you forward. You could even feel like you're I'm getting this image of, what would I call it? It feels like a laser powered tunnel that's just like moving at the speed of light, like just whisking you through, kind of like a Disney, like a super, future oriented Disney ride. Anyway, Leo, what does your heart want? You could have something come to culmination or ending, a full circle moment, a moment of what feels like a graduation, look how far I've come, or a door closing and a new door opening. In any of these areas that I just mentioned, some of you will be very fired up during this full moon about a creative project. I know someone with strong Leo in their 5th house who right now is just very much, like working constantly on a specific project that they are super fired up about. Or this could have to do with your children, or one of your children could, exhibit this energy, which is uplifting, it's vivacious, it's super enthusiastic, but also a very strong need for us to tap into our faith, some of us anyway. And Leo, you are getting a trine from this full moon, which is really great for your energy. And at the same time, Mars in your sign is squaring Uranus. So go back and watch the first part of this video if you haven't already, where I discuss what that means. But in a nutshell, it's breaking free. Freedom and liberation. So some of you may end a romantic partnership. Often it's a more casual relationship in the 5th house, but not always. A romance could end during this full moon, but by no means is that going to be all of you. And you may very well feel like you have to let loose during this full moon. This is definitely a full moon where there's pressure and there's tension, and I explain why in part 1, but this is a full moon that I think a lot of people are going to want to let loose. Just, could be an effort moment. It could be an effort moment for some of you. Okay, Leo, let me shuffle for you now and let's see what the cards have to say. Beautiful Leo. Your card is, the purple, so much purple. I'll show you in a sec. It's Archangel Metatron. Call upon me to clear and open your chakras using sacred geometric shapes. Sacred geometric shapes. It's the chakra clearing card. This is a card of ascension. You see the sacred geometry that's wanting to come through the crown, and it is coming through the crown of this angel, Archangel Metatron. Archangel Metatron also helps us to organize, it helps us to prioritize, and it helps us to get things done. And of course, as we clear those chakras, we open up, not only do we elevate the vibration of our chakras, but we also clear out any, cobwebs, so to speak, or static, energetic static that is keeping us from making our dreams happen, from accomplishing our goals, or doing it with more ease and flow. Beautiful Leo, to me, this is such a card of ascension. If you want to claim your ascension, you want to claim a spiritual awakening, if you want to claim that you have Archangel Metatron helping you to prioritize what matters most to your beautiful heart, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer. I have my moon and my rising in Cancer. And those of you who are Cancer risings will feel this full moon in your 6th house. The 6th house rules daily work, daily habits, exercise, nutrition, the state of your physical body. Now, that is also the 1st house, but often when we're going through some sort of health thing, whether it's a chronic pain or whether it's anything, a diagnosis, anything like that, that often falls within the 6th house. The 6th house rules our optimal health, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. So what I believe is going on during this full moon for some of you is that some of you are coming to a kind of a climax with healing something, and it could be something that's finally healed. You've worked really hard on it. Remember, this full moon is a culmination of the new moon that happened early December of 2024. So it could be that, or it could be that you're getting new information because Jupiter and Mercury are conjunct during this moon, and they're making aspects to Saturn and Neptune. I talk all about that in part 1 of this video. But because of that, you could also get a new revelation, new information, something that catapults you forward toward healing that much more. What else? Something going on in your work. You could end a work situation. You could leave a job. You could say yes to a new job. You could open up to having your own business, to doing your life differently. The 6th house is the house of lifestyle. You may really be thinking about your lifestyle right now. Is my lifestyle working for me? Am I happy doing this? Do I want to keep doing that? Do I need to have more flexibility? Do I need more freedom? Some of you could even be thinking about changing, a radical change. This full moon wants us to lean into faith. I'm not saying go do something that isn't going to meet your needs. Obviously, that's very, very important. And many people do stay in jobs and situations beyond what feels healthy for them because of finances. So if that's your situation, I really encourage you to look at it from all sides, fly above it, get advice from other people so that you don't feel like you are so that you're not creating a prison for yourself, because a lot of times we can do that, right? And then later we look back and we go, that really affected my health. That really affected, it can affect a lot of different things, and it can be cumulative. It can catch up to us. Not to say that this is going to go on for even the majority of you. I'm just throwing out different examples of how this full moon could play out. It could also be as simple as you end an exercise routine and you start a new one. You stop working out at a specific place and you start to, you stop doing yoga and you start doing weightlifting instead. Like it can play out in so many different ways. But again, the big message of this full moon, it's an ascension full moon. It wants to help us raise our vibration, lean into faith, and feel stronger as a result. So, Cancer. Let me pull a card for you and let us see what the cards have to say. And you could get a promotion or a new job, or you could get a new opportunity to do something different. Be really attentive to any messages, whether they're divine downloads, conversations with other people, advice, etc., that you get, because it could be the divine speaking to you, Cancer. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. Your card is Hello from heaven. Aw, Archangel Azrael. Your loved ones in heaven are doing fine. Your loved ones want to get a message to you. When I say that, what is there a specific loved one that you are aware of? Let go of worries. Feel their loving blessings. I feel like this is saying, Cancer, don't try to do it alone. Jupiter's entering your sign. That is the divine, right? So that could be it too. Also, Mercury's entering your sign. Also, divine messages. They are going to be conjunct during this full moon, really amplifying that. And we see a lot of blue, which is throat chakra messaging, but also the light pink, which is a soft, loving energy. And I feel that this card is saying, remember that you're a spiritual being. Remember that you are in a physical body, especially if you're having any challenges in your physical life right now, whether it's with your body or with your resources or at work, a toxic work environment, and so on. This is saying, don't try to do it alone. Call on the divine. Talk to your loved ones. Tell them when you're frustrated. My dad passed when I was 16. You have no idea how many conversations I've had with him. And it's like, can you please help me? Like, what are you doing? I need your help. Come on. Because my dad was an entrepreneur and, he was a real go-getter and all of that. And so I've often called on him in my own very long journey as a self-employed person. It's a journey. Being self-employed is quite a journey. So anyway, that's one example, Cancer. There are lots and lots of examples. We're all going through different things, but you get the message. What a beautiful card to download and receive in every cell of your body, the love from the divine, and maybe a sacred message as well. If you want to claim that you are connected, that heaven is talking with you, or anything else, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Gemini, hello, beautiful Gemini, beautiful Gemini. I have my natal sun in Gemini. You're really going to feel this full moon. Why? Because it is opposite your energy, the moon being in Sagittarius. And that means for you, it's happening in your 7th house of partnerships. So we always feel full moons in relationships, but you will feel it that much more. It is what we call an opposition. And this doesn't have to be difficult, Gemini. It does not have to be. It can be a conversation from another person. It can be new information coming in. It could be an offer. It could be something ending. Some of you may have a relationship end or a conversation that really ends up being turning point in the relationship. That could happen. The 7th house is business relationships, romantic relationships, best friends, anyone in which they have your back, you have their back, and it feels like a significant partnership. That's the 7th house. It's partnerships. We are working together to do something, and it doesn't have to be, again, it can be a best friendship where you just always have each other's back. So, Gemini, what is going on for you in relationships? Is there a relationship that does need to have a conversation? Is there a move that you want to make, an action you want to take regarding someone that's important to you in your life? Some of you could propose to somebody during this full moon. Somebody could propose to you. And of course, a proposal can be business or romantic or something else. So, and the 7th house also rules contracts, proposals, agreements. So there you go. Okay, Gem. You're going to feel this full moon because we have the sun in your sign. And it's asking us to lean on faith, increase our faith, reignite the magic in your life, Gemini. You know what magic is about. You are the magician. You have 1 foot in the ethereal world. You have 1 foot in this earthly world, and that can be really challenging. You are meant to alchemize the dark into light, and you do that for others as well as yourself. So, beautiful Gem, let me see what the cards have to say for you. Beautiful gems. All is well. Archangel Jeremiah. Wow, when I show you this card, so much gold. Archangel Jeremiah. Everything is happening exactly as it is supposed to. with hidden blessings that you will soon understand. What a beautiful card of comfort. The gold, this is abundance. Abundance is pouring out of this torch. This angel, Jeremiah, is dancing. There's a spiral reminding you that life is a spiral, that there's not this, when I get to my destination, then I'm successful. We have many so-called missteps, mishaps. Sometimes we call them failures, right? I don't believe that there's such a thing as a failure. I believe that on a spiritual path, it's all about learning and growth. But this card is reminding me of your artistry. Gems, you channel energy through your hands. It's reminding me of artistry. Even if you're not an artist, all gems. That's why I use my hands a lot when I talk, because I have a Gemini sun. And you are, I feel like this angel is like painting this spiral of glittery abundance with their lyrical movements. And most Geminis love to dance. Most of them are quite lyrical in their movements. All is well. Beautiful gem. If you've been worrying about something, gems can be prone to worry. If you've been worrying, this card is saying, put it aside. To give it to the divine. Hand it over. All is well. Let the divine solve anything that feels too heavy for you at this point in your life. Beautiful gem. If you resonate with anything that I shared, I would absolutely love to hear in the comments below. Let me know. Taurus. Hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus, Venus is now in your sign during this full moon. It is so beautiful. I hope you love it. And this full moon is happening for you in your 8th house of power and control, death and rebirth, shared resources, emotional and sexual intimacy. This is where we partner up with others, whether it's romantic or business or clients. We partner up and we share resources. I do an astrology session for you, you pay me. That's one example. We invest our money through a financial institution. If it's a mutual fund, for example, they get a certain amount and we are meant to get the return on our investment. So it really is a house of, I call it the house of emotional attachments, because these are the things that are so important to us. Money, intimate love, real estate falls here as well. Wealth, whatever wealth is for you. So it's a high-powered, it's a highly emotional house. And this is where the full moon is happening for you. So some of you are navigating something financial during this full moon. Venus will square Pluto. I speak about that in part 1 of this video. It's about saying no, setting boundaries, honoring yourself. Because a full moon is about endings sometimes, you could also be ending a relationship. You could be paying off a loan. You could be satisfying a tax debt, any of these things. But you could also be experiencing a beautiful healing with a partner. It could be a sexual healing. It could be taking the next step with a partner emotionally. It can be deep and lovely, ecstatic even. It will, of course, beautiful Taurus, be different for all of you depending on your life and what's happening in your life at the time. So let me pull a card for you and let us see what the cards have to say. But big picture, this is an ending, a culmination, a manifestation, a full circle moment, and it will likely involve some sort of partnership and be related to resources or finances as well. Okay, Taurus, let us see what the cards have to say for you. Taurus. And it can be a positive boost in your finances as well. Okay, Taurus. And if there's a delay, because we have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction right now, and Saturn can delay things and Jupiter can expand that feeling of delay, or it could be Jupiter bringing something in. It's a square. So again, I talk about that in part 1 of this video and in my Jupiter in Cancer video. But what I want to say is, if there's a delay, it's a call to raise your consciousness to the level of what your heart is most desiring. Okay, Taurus, your card. Archangel Metatron. This is the second time Archangel Metatron has come up. Indigo and crystal children. You have a bond with children. In particular, you can help children who are sensitive. Wow. So that is a very clear message for some of you, very straightforward. But also, you may want to do some connection with your own inner child. You may resonate being an indigo child or a crystal child, and you may want to connect with your own inner child to tell that part of you how divine they are, tell that part of you the beautiful things about them, about you, and deepen your own bond with your own inner child. And you may know, Taurus, that indigo children can be quite rebellious, revolutionary even. Both indigos and crystals, they have brought to this planet a high vibrational light frequency, but at the same time, you can feel like I'm not of this earth. I'm not, like the other kids I know. I'm different in some way. I need to find my soul family. I need to find my tribe. And if that's true, then that card is also validating your spiritual nature and the fact that you do bring a special healing energy to others and to the planet. If anything I shared resonates, beautiful Taurus, let me know in the comments below. Aries. Hello, beautiful Aries. Aries, you are going to experience this full moon in Sagittarius in your 9th house. What I love about this full moon for you is that the 9th house is the planet of expansion. It is the Sag house in the traditional zodiac. So this full moon, which is making a trine to your energy, Sag fire to your fire, it's pushing you forward. It is easily pushing you forward. It's wind at your back. It is quite lovely. And it's sparking new things for you, most likely, encouraging you to expand, encouraging you to be uplifted spiritually, to get the inspiration you need, to do the long distance travel or moving to another country if that fits you, to open up your beliefs, to I'm just getting the message of going where you have not gone before, treading in new environments, some of you. I just feel a real openness. I feel an openness in my heart, and I see a big open portal right now. I just see a big opening for you. And Aries, we do have Saturn and Neptune conjunct in your sign. And this month in June, we're going to have Jupiter, Mercury, and the Sun all activating that Saturn Neptune conjunction. So if you have planets or points in the early degrees, you're really going to feel this month, the month of this astrology. And this is a real pivotal year for you. This year and next year, very, very pivotal for you. I could tell you a lot more looking at your entire chart in a consultation. But Aries, expect to feel some sort of opening, some of you could be taking a course. This is the house of higher learning. You could be taking a course. You could be publishing something. You could be graduating from a program. You could be doing something that is in the legal realm, whether it's a job in the legal field, or whether you are having to jump through some legal hoops to meet a goal, or you are involved in some sort of a lawsuit and wanting it to come to fruition. That could happen for you during this full moon as well. Or you could get new information that tells you what needs to be done, or something new that allows you to move through something legally. Big picture, Aries. This one is meant to be a freeing full moon for you. And you may want to say, like I talk about in part 1 of this video, you may just want to be like, F it. I just can't. You may just feel like right now I need a break. I need to throw everything up in the air. I need to, go relax, go do something fun, forget about my life for a little bit, even if it's just an evening. Know that if that happens, or dance your prayers, sweat your prayers, go for a run, whatever it takes, to let some of that pressure, because you could feel pressure during this full moon, especially with Saturn and Neptune in your sign, let some of that pressure fall away. Okay, Aries, let me pull a card for you and let us see. But you're getting a trine from this full moon, which again, it's ease and grace, wind at your back. Okay, Aries. Your card is, clairsentience, Archangel Raguel. Notice your recurring physical and emotional feelings as they signify divine guidance. This card is saying you are opening up to more of your spiritual powers, and in particular, clairsentience is where we feel the wisdom in our body. Beautiful for you, Aries, because you're ruled by Mars, and Mars is connected to the physical body. And so it makes a lot of sense that, and I always think of this sort of red color as your color, Aries. It's a little bit burgundy red in this card, but notice what you're getting as I read the cards, because I'm giving you what I'm getting, but you're also getting your own insights. And look at the big bright light opening on the heart here. That also looks like a heart chakra opening. So you let me know, Aries, what does this card feel like for you? Leave me a comment. I would love to hear. Pisces. Hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces, you're going to experience this full moon in Sagittarius in your 10th house. The 10th house represents for a full moon, a culmination, an ending, a completion, a full circle moment, a graduation moment, an epiphany, a revelation in your house of career, legacy, life purpose expressed, what brings you meaning, what brings you fulfillment if you don't have a career, retirement, semi-retirement, a lot of different things it could be, but ultimately this is asking you, how do you want to spend your time? Especially, a good part of your days often. Some of you may decide to leave a job because it is a full moon, so something could be ending. You could be leaving a job. You could be closing a business. You could be opening a business. You could be retiring. You could be really wanting to be on this quest of finding your purpose. Sag is a questing energy. So you could really find yourself doing something that feels like a quest, that feels like searching. You could really be searching around this time. And getting answers. Remember to ask for answers, Pisces. Remember to ask. All those planets that were hovering in your house for so long, they've all moved on. But the North Node in your sign is part of the Grand Cross, the mutable Grand Cross happening during this full moon. And that can bring destined and fated moments. I speak about that at much more length in part 1 of this video. You are one of the ones being most, I don't like to use those words, most affected, because those aren't empowering words, but you are one of the ones who are going to feel most likely this full moon the most, especially if you have planets or points around that 20-degree point. And Pisces, the moon in Sag makes a square to your energy, which often feels like tension or pressure. It feels like often we have to take some sort of action. You may feel like you have to make a decision. You may feel like you're being sort of put in a box or a corner, or, that phrase, between a rock and a hard place. You may feel like there's going to be more amplified emotion most likely during this full moon, but at the same time, squares do get us moving. They do get us into action, and you're getting really positive energy flow from Jupiter in Cancer, Mercury in Cancer. They both trine your energy. So that is very, very supportive. Okay, Pisces, let us see what the cards have to say for you. Are you ready for a turning point? Are you ready for something fated or destined to come into your life? Are you ready to say yes to your heart in a new way, to move into new territory? Let's see what the cards have to say for you. Pisces, moon cycles. Pisces, the moon card in the tarot is your card. And this says, Archangel Haniel, notice how the moon affects your energy and your manifestations. Capitalize upon these cycles. The new moon, a time that we set intentions. The full moon, a time that we see culminations. And then there are the moons in between, right? The first quarter moon, last quarter moon, etc. You might also want to look up where the moon was, not just the sign of your moon, but what phase it was in when you were born. That often tells us something about our motivations and our personality as well. Here's the card. So when I look at this card, I definitely see a divine download here. Are these doves? I think they're doves. Any kind of bird that you resonate with may have a message for you. You may get these in your sleep at night. You may get these in, I know that a lot of Pisces people get a lot of information in their sleep or when they're first waking up in the morning. But I feel a real lightness and gentleness with this card and a peace. If you don't already keep a moon journal, you may want to start doing that for the new and full moons and or the moons in between. Beautiful Pisces, if anything I shared in this reading resonates for you, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Aquarius, Aquarius, beautiful Aquarius. You are going to experience this full moon in Sagittarius in your 11th house of fulfillment. What fills you up? What do you want to experience? What dream, what hope, what wish? This is the house of friendships. This is the house of supporters, allies, social media platforms, promotion, branding, you getting your message out into the world. It's the world is my oyster, this house. It's a very, very beautiful placement for a full moon, especially because you're getting a sextile, which is an opportunity, a solution. It is, beautiful Aquarius, you know, a tangible blessing for some of you. Sextiles are often something is getting solved, something's getting worked out. We're getting the benefit, we're getting the blessing that we so need and want. So, you know, because friendships are here and allies, this full moon wants to support you. It wants you to feel like you have the friends that you need. It wants you to feel like you have tribe. It wants you to, it could be an invitation to go to some sort of a meetup group or to, you know, call a friend or, you know, work with somebody that's going to help you to see yourself through true eyes, your creative champion. Aquarius, you could really be focused on a new dream right now. Let me know in the comments below if you have a dream that you're really focused on bringing into fruition. I would love to hear. And some of you may want to do online dating, or you could meet somebody through an online dating platform or just through some sort of, you know, networking online. You could meet somebody as well, a friend or a romantic partner. Okay, Aquarius, let us see. And remember, this is an ending, a culmination, something coming to fruition, a full circle moment. It wants us to lean on our faith. You're getting such beautiful harmonizing energy with this full moon. Aquarius, let's see what the cards have to say. And because you're a fixed sign and because Venus is going to make a square to Pluto in Aquarius, you could feel that. I talk about that in part 1 and give you tips for moving through that if that's part of the ends up being part of the mix. There's a big mix of energies during this full moon. All of the signs are, you know, all the planets are involved, even though they're not all aspecting the full moon itself. All the planets are having a planetary conversation with at least one other planet, and that is why this is a high energy full moon. Okay, your card. Gentleness, yes. Archangel Sandalphon, be very gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. Music, softness, communing with the divine, allowing your own gentle spirit to come through, not pushing the river, allowing yourself to receive. I just get that a big yes to open your hands to receive, open your heart to receive, open your crown chakra to receive. Aquarius, you as much as anyone deserve your own love and affection. I think that's a quote by Buddha. And not only that, the divine wants to give you a blessing, open to receive. Beautiful Aquarius. If anything I shared resonates, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Capricorn. Hello, beautiful Capricorn. Capricorn, you're going to experience this full moon in Sagittarius. I know I'm getting silly. You guys are my last sign. You're going to experience this in the 12th house, the 12th house of rest and retreat, your inner mystic, the subconscious mind. You could have a spiritual awakening during this full moon. This full moon could show you something, a subconscious loop or something else that your mind has been doing, some sort of mental programming that is ready to shift or change. You could rewrite your inner narrative. You could come up with a new story that it opens you up to new possibilities and the truth of who you really are. Capricorn, you could definitely have an enlightening moment, a dream that feels like it opens up a new possibility for you, a new insight. This is the house where we can often get, you know, amazing revelations, out of body experiences. This would be a good full moon in your 12th house. The 12th house rules the other realms. It would be a great full moon, and channeling as well, mediumship. It would be a great full moon if you want advice to do an astrology reading or get a, you know, tarot reading or something that is really going to, you know, allow that magic that can come through the metaphysical modalities. Give yourself that gift if that appeals to you. Your inner mystic, I'm feeling, is coming more online, and you may really feel it. Remember, this full moon, as I speak about in part 1 of the video, is conjunct the galactic center. That's a portal. That's a new opening. That's a higher frequency vibration that we are all being called into. Capricorn, I'm getting excited. As I talk with you, let's see what the cards have to say. For your full moon, ending completions, manifestation. Gifts from God, yes. Archangel Sandalphon, a lot of Archangel Sandalphon cards coming up for this reading, for this full moon. We angels bring you gifts from your creator. Open your arms to receive. Check it out. Wow, wow, wow. So with the 12th house full moon, which is the divine realms, gifts from God, you are being given, you are being... So the word cherished is coming to me. The universe, spirit, your guides want to know, Capricorn, that you are cherished. You are cherished. That word to me is such as, I love that word, cherished. It is highlighting that you are a treasure, that not only are you getting gifts from God, that you are a gift. You are a gift. You are a blessing to the planet. Some of you need to hear that. The color of this cape is, to me, this very reddish. It's the root chakra. Some of you need to know that you are safe, you are secure. Some of you may want to do some sort of root chakra work, belonging, motherline stuff, knowing that you are rooted, you are firmly rooted. And open your arms, open your goblet to receive the treasures, the blessings from the divine. And watch my video on Jupiter and Cancer, because that Jupiter energy is streaming across the zodiac wheel to you. It's an opposition for you, meaning that other people too also want to bring you gifts. Beautiful Capricorn, if anything I shared resonates, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear it. My beautiful friend, thank you so much for joining me for this video on the Sag full moon. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for subscribing. Your subscribes do make a huge difference, as do your likes and your thumbs ups. This is how the algorithm gets triggered to share this video with more people, and how I can keep doing these videos for you and connect with you as I love to do. If you would like to connect one-on-one through an astrology consultation or through a coaching session, a clarity coaching session, go to my website, check out the testimonials that other clients have shared, and you should get a sense of whether you feel called in your heart to book a session. I offer you a number of choices. We can do a relationship harmony reading. We can do a life purpose, a heart's desire, a natal chart, a 90-minute astrology consultation if you would like more time to discuss one or more things that are very much up for you. Now, the links to my astrology and coaching pages are in the description box below, and I always really love meeting you on Zoom. I have a free gift for you. That free gift is a soothing guided meditation. It is perfect for this full moon that wants us to up-level our faith, that is streaming down unconditional love. It is my intention through that meditation to help you to get the guidance you need and also to raise your vibration. If you'd like to get it, go to my website, sign up for my free inspirational astrology weekly updates, and you will get my free gift, instant download meditation at the same time. My beautiful friend, let me know in the comments below how you're feeling about this full moon energy. Are you feeling it already? I certainly am. I would love to hear your thoughts, and until my next video, I am sending you all my love.